You do not know what a city is. You know a street. You know a doorway. You know the smell of the man who feeds you and the sound of his footsteps on the stones before he comes around the corner. You do not know what a mountain is. You know the smell of the air and the feel of the ground and the difference between a day that is ordinary and a day that is not. Today is not ordinary. You know this before anyone else does. You have been trying to say so since dawn. Before we begin, in 1863, archaeologists excavating Pompeii found the remains of a dog in the house on the Street of the Abundance. The dog had been chained near the entrance. When the ash came, the chain held. The dog's owner was not found nearby. We do not know the dog's name. We do not know what breed it was, though the shape of the bones suggests a medium-sized animal, lean and muscular, the kind of dog kept for guarding. We do not know how old it was or how long it had lived in that house, or what its days were like. We know it waited. In this story, you are that dog. This is your last day, and everything you know about the world is about to be tested by something you cannot name and cannot understand and cannot leave. You wake when the air changes. Not light, not sound. The air. You feel it on your nose before you feel anything else. The shift from night air to morning air. The particular way the dark smells differently from the first gray before sunrise. Your nose has always been the first thing awake. Your nose is almost always awake. You stretch, your front legs go forward, your back arches, your claws find the familiar grooves in the stone beneath you. You have slept in this doorway for 3 years. The stone knows the shape of you. The chain is there. It is always there. A short length of iron from your collar to the ring set into the wall beside the door. You have never thought about the chain in the way a person might think about a constraint. It is simply part of the shape of your world, like the doorway and the stone and the particular smell of this street. Your world ends where the chain ends, and you have always known this, and it has never troubled you, because within that world everything you need is present. The street begins to wake around you. First the sounds, a shutter opening 2 houses down, the distant noise of the market beginning to assemble near the forum, the particular sound of the baker's door, which you know without seeing, because you have heard it every morning, and the hinges of that door make a sound no other door makes. Then the smells. Bread. The bread smell comes before the baker himself appears, carried on the still morning air, warm and yeasty and thick. You lift your nose to it. Your tail moves twice, involuntarily, because the bread smell has always come before the baker, and the baker always gives you something from the end of the day's first loaf. And this morning will be the same. Every morning is the same. This is what you know, and this is enough. You live inside a world that is exactly the right size. Not too large to understand. Not too small to be interesting. This street, this doorway, these smells and sounds, and the people who move through them every day. You know all of it. You know it the way you know your own heartbeat, without having to think about it, because it is simply what exists. The baker comes. You hear his footsteps before you see him, the specific rhythm of them, slightly heavier on the left, the way he has walked since you have known him. You are standing before he comes around the corner. Your tail is already moving. He comes around the corner with flour on his hands and a piece of bread in one of them. He sees you, and his face does the thing it does. The thing faces do when they see something they are glad to see. He comes to you and holds out the bread, and you take it carefully from his fingers, the way he taught you to take things. Gently, which was not natural for you, but which you learned because he asked it of you with a patience that you understood was a form of care. The bread is warm. You eat it in 2 bites. He scratches behind your ear for a moment, the spot that makes your back leg twitch. And then he goes on his way down the street toward his shop. You watch him go. This is one of the fixed points of your day, the baker and the bread and the scratch behind the ear. There are other fixed points. The woman from the house across the street, who calls to you by a name that is not your name, but which you have learned means you, and which you respond to, because she says it in a voice that means kindness. The children who sometimes come to sit near you and speak to you in the incomprehensible stream of child sound that you have learned to associate with gentleness and occasional shared food. And your person, above all your person, the smell of him, which you know better than any smell in the world, which you would know in darkness or in a crowd or at the end of a long road. The sound of his footsteps, which you can pick out from the general noise of the street before he turns the corner. The particular way he speaks to you. The tone of it, which carries more information than the words because you do not know the words but you know the tone completely. A dog's loyalty is not a decision. It is not chosen the way a person chooses something. It grows the way a root grows, downward and without asking permission, finding the things it needs in the dark and holding on to them. You did not decide to love your person. You simply do, in the same way you simply breathe. Your person comes out of the house mid-morning. You hear him inside before the door opens. His footsteps on the floor inside, the specific sound of them, and then the door and his smell reaching you before he is fully through it. You are on your feet. Your whole body is involved in greeting him. Your tail, your ears, the slight forward lean of your weight. He crouches down to you. He puts both hands on the sides of your face, the way he does, and looks at you the way he does, directly, which you have learned is the way he shows you that you have his full attention. Most people do not look at you this way. Most people look past you, or at the top of your head. He looks at you. He says something. You do not know the words. You know the tone, which is warm and unhurried. The tone of someone who is not in a rush and is glad to be where they are. He checks your water. He refills it from the jug he carries out, pouring it into your bowl by the door. You drink some of it while he is still crouching there. Your tail still moving because the water is fresh and because he is here. He stands. Then he looks down at you for a moment. He says something else, shorter. The tone of it. The tone he uses when he is going somewhere and will be back. You know this tone. He uses it every morning when he leaves for his work. He goes. You watch him walk down the street. You watch him until he turns the corner and is gone. Then you lie down in your doorway. The chain settles beside you. The street continues its mourning. He always comes back. This is the deepest knowledge you have, deeper than hunger and deeper than fear. He leaves in the morning and he comes back in the evening. This has happened every day of your life with him. The leaving is not loss. The leaving is the shape that makes the coming back possible. You lie in the doorway and wait, and this is not suffering. This is simply waiting. You rest your chin on your front paws. The street moves around you. The sun moves across the stone. You wait. Something is wrong before the sound comes. You feel it in your nose first. A smell that is not a smell from this street. Not a smell from anywhere you know. Something from deep in the ground. Sharp and mineral and wrong. The kind of wrong that your body recognizes without having a name for. Your head comes up. Your ears move forward. You stand. The street is ordinary around you. People walking. A cart going past. The usual sounds of the usual morning. Nothing looks different, but the smell is there. Underneath everything, coming from somewhere you cannot locate. From the ground itself, or from the air, or from the direction of the mountain, whose shape you have seen every day without ever thinking about it. You make a sound, not a bark, something lower. And a sound from the back of your throat that means something is wrong, and you do not know what it is. The woman across the street looks up from her doorway. She looks at you, and then looks around and does not see anything and goes back to what she was doing. You make the sound again. No one stops. No one looks at the mountain. No one smells what you are smelling. You pull against the chain, not hard, not in the frantic way of an animal in panic, but in the testing way, the way you have tested it before on the occasions when something in the street frightened you, checking the limits of your world. The chain holds. It always holds. You stand in the doorway with your nose up and your ears forward and the wrong smell, growing stronger from the direction of the mountain, and there is nothing you can do about any of it. You are at the end of your chain, and the world is at the beginning of something, and these two facts are not going to change. Animals know before people do. This is not magic. It is the body paying attention to the information it is given. The ground carries signals that feet can feel, and noses can smell, and ears can hear at frequencies that human senses miss. You have been telling everyone on this street for an hour that something is wrong. You do not have the words and they do not have the ears. This is the distance between you, and today it matters. The sound comes from below the ground and above the sky at the same time. You have heard thunder. This is not thunder. Thunder comes from one direction and moves. This comes from everywhere, from the stones beneath your feet, and the air above your head, and the walls of the house behind you. And it does not move because it is not coming from a direction. It is coming from the world itself. The ground moves. You have never felt the ground move. The ground is the thing that does not move. Everything else moves. People and carts and animals and wind. But the ground is what they move on. The fixed thing. The thing that holds everything else in place. When it moves, your legs go wrong. You stagger sideways into the wall of the house, and the chain pulls, and you make a sound you have never made before. The street explodes with noise, people running, voices at a pitch you have never heard from human voices before. The pitch of people who do not know what is happening, but whose bodies have decided that whatever it is, moving away from it, is the correct response. A cart horse somewhere close is screaming, and a sound that goes directly into your body and tells you that the fear you are feeling is correct and real and shared. You look for your person. He is not there. He went down the street this morning, and he has not come back yet, and the street is full of people, running, and none of them are him. You pull against the chain. The chain is iron. The ring is set deep into old stone. These facts do not change because the world is changing. Your need to find your person does not change the length of the chain. You pull, and the chain holds, and you pull, and the chain holds, and you understand. In the way a body understands things that the mind has not yet caught up to, that the chain is not going to give. The people leave, not all at once, in waves. First the ones who were already moving, who simply changed direction and moved faster, then the ones who came out of their doorways when the ground moved and looked at the mountain and understood and started moving. Then the ones who hesitated, who stood in the street, looking at each other and at the mountain and at the things they had left inside, deciding. The woman from across the street comes out of her door with a bundle under her arm. She looks at you. She stops. You are pulling against the chain, not frantically, steadily, with the full weight of your body, in the direction of the street, in the direction your person went this morning. She crosses to you. She puts her hand on your head. You feel the warmth of it, the specific warmth of a hand you know, and for a moment you are still. She pulls at the chain. She pulls at the ring in the wall. She does not have the tools to free you, and she does not have the time, and she knows both of these things. You can feel it in her hands, the way they move, quickly, desperately, and then stop. She says something to you. Her voice is the kindness voice, but there is something else in it now, something that makes the hair on your back rise, because you have never heard it from her before. She says your name, the name that is not your name, but that means you. Then she goes. You watch her go down the street with her bundle and her quick steps, and you do not make a sound because you do not have a sound for this. She tried. This is important. She did not simply leave. She stopped and she tried, and when she could not do it, she said your name, and then she had to go, and she went. You will not know this, not in words, but in the way a body knows things, you will hold it. She stopped. She tried. She said your name. The street is quiet now, not the quiet of early morning, the quiet of empty. The market sounds are gone. The cart sounds are gone. The voices are gone. The only sounds are the falling of stones from the mountain, small and rhythmic on the rooftops and the paving, and the low, continuous sound from the mountain itself, the sound that has been there since the ground first moved, that has no comparison in anything you have ever heard. You lie down, not because you have given up, because the chain does not give, and standing pulls and lying down costs less. You lie with your chin on your paws and your eyes on the corner of the street. The corner he turns every evening when he comes back. At the corner you have watched every day of your life with him. The stones fall on the street. The gray material in the air settles slowly on the paving, on the doorsteps, on you. It is not cold. It is not painful. It simply falls and covers, and you let it because there is nothing to do about it. Your nose is still working. You sort through the smells of the changed air, the mineral wrongness and the smoke and the ash, looking for the one smell that matters, the smell that means him. You have found it across a crowded market and through a closed door and at the end of a long afternoon. If it is here to be found, you will find it. It is not here. You keep looking. You keep your nose in the air and you wait and you look for the one smell in all the smells of this changed world that would tell you he is coming. Waiting is something dogs know how to do, not passive waiting, not the waiting of someone who has given up. Active waiting, the waiting of a body that is still oriented, still pointed in the right direction, still ready to move the moment the thing it is waiting for appears. You are pointed at the corner. You are ready. He will come around that corner, and you will be ready. The light goes. Not like evening. Evening, you know, the slow change of the light from afternoon gold to the orange of the low sun to the gray of the fading day. This is not that. This is the light going from above, the sky closing, the column from the mountain spreading until it covers the sun and the day becomes something that is not night but is not day either. The street is darker than it should be. The gray material falls thicker now, no longer light dust but heavier pieces, accumulating on the paving stones around you, on the steps in the corners of the doorway. You shake yourself. The material falls from your coat and settles on the ground and falls again. You look at the corner. The corner is still there. The street is still there. The world has changed in almost every way it can change, and the corner is still there, and he could still come around it. This is the thing you hold. Not with your mind, with your body, with the orientation of your whole self toward that specific point where the street turns and a person could appear. The chain is there. You stopped pulling, not because you stopped wanting to go, because the chain told you what it was going to do, and you understood, and you stopped spending yourself against it. You lie in the doorway of the house you have guarded for 3 years. The ash falls around you. The wrong dark presses down. Your nose is still working, still sorting, still looking for the one thing in all of this that would change everything. Love in a dog is entirely present tense. There is no past love, no future love, but only the love that is happening right now, in this moment, pointed at this corner, waiting for this person. It does not diminish with time or distance or the falling of ash. It is simply there, constant and complete, the same now as it was this morning when he scratched behind your ear and said whatever he said in the tone that meant he would be back. He said he would be back. You heard it in his voice. He will be back. The street fills with silence, a silence deeper than the silence of the empty street, deeper than the silence before the ground moved. The falling material makes a sound on the rooftops and the paving, but this sound is small and steady, and after a while, your ears stop distinguishing it, the way ears stop hearing the sound of a fountain after long enough. You are still. Your chest rises and falls. Your nose still works. Is sorting the air, finding nothing, sorting again. Your eyes are on the corner. The corner is darker now, the light wrong, but the shape of it is still there. The specific angle of the two walls meeting, and the space between them where the street continues and where a person could appear. You think of nothing because you do not think in the way this word usually means. You are simply present, fully present, every part of you oriented toward the corner, and the smell that has not come, and the footsteps you have not heard. This is not sadness. You do not have sadness yet. You have waiting, which is different. Waiting still contains the thing it is waiting for. Waiting still has the corner, and the possibility and the readiness. The ash is deep around you now. It has covered the paving stones and the doorsteps and the base of the walls. Yet your paws are warm inside it. Your coat is heavy with it. You put your chin on your paws. You look at the corner. You wait. There is no word in any human language for what a dog feels in the last hours of waiting for someone who is not coming. There are words for grief and for love and for loyalty, but those are human words for human experiences that only approximately describe what happens in a dog's body when it has done everything it knows how to do and the one thing that would fix everything has not happened and is not happening. We do not have the word, we only have the image. A dog in a doorway, a chain, a corner, the ash falling, the waiting that does not stop. He did not come. This is the fact that the archaeologists found in 1863, preserved in ash and time. A dog in a doorway, a chain, a ring in the wall. The dog had moved in its last hours, trying to reach higher ground as the ash rose, the chain pulling, and the chain had held. The cast they made of the space the dog had left in the ash shows the shape of an animal that was, until the very end, trying. We do not know what happened to the owner. We do not know if he tried to come back and could not. We do not know if he escaped the city and survived. We do not know if he thought somewhere in the chaos of that day about the dog chained at his door. We know the dog waited. We know this because the evidence of it is there, in the stone, in the position of the bones, in the shape left in the hardened ash. The waiting is recorded. And the chain is recorded. The trying is recorded. What is not recorded, what cannot be recorded, is the part that was only ever inside the dog. The smell it was looking for. The sound of footsteps it knew better than any other sound. The corner it watched. The readiness that never stopped being ready. That part did not survive in stone. It survived in this. In being told. In you, reading it, knowing it. In the particular ache that comes from understanding that somewhere in the ruins of a city buried 2,000 years ago, a dog waited for someone who loved it, until it could not wait anymore. The ash preserved the shape preserved the waiting preserved the love, and love, given enough time and enough telling, outlasts everything. The city is gone. The chain is in a museum. At the corner of the street still turns in the ruins, open to the sky. And somewhere in the record of what happened on that day, there is a dog who waited, who kept its nose in the air, who watched the corner, who was ready until the very end for the sound of familiar footsteps on familiar stone. A note on history. In 1863, archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli developed the technique of filling the voids left by decomposed organic material in the hardened ash of Pompeii with plaster. This technique revealed, in extraordinary detail, the forms of people and animals in their final moments. Among the casts made in this period was that of a dog near the entrance of a house. The dog was wearing a collar. It had been chained. The cast shows the animal in a position suggesting it had been trying to move as the ash level rose. The owner of the house was not found nearby. The cast of the Pompeii dog is one of the most recognized and affecting artifacts from the excavations. It is held in the Naples National Archaeological Museum. The dog in this story has no name because no name was recorded. And its owner has no name because no name was recorded. What happened to the owner on August 24, 79 AD is not known. The dog waited. This much is certain. This much is enough. Good night. Hold the ones you love a little longer tonight. They are waiting for you too.